Okay, welcome to Startup Grind. This is the Startup Grind English edition, and I want to welcome our guest, Naran, who's the founder and the CEO of Erxes. And so, why don't you introduce yourself and let's kick off.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you very much for doing this event, Sobol, and I'm so happy to be here. And I think it's already been said, but yeah, my name is Naran, and I'm the co-founder and chief operating officer at Erxes, which is open source and all-in-one growth marketing platform, which keeps track of all your customer interactions so that your sales, marketing, and support team can do a better job treating your clients as if they were one of your old friends. So as today, we've got over 25,000 enterprises are using our platform over 100 countries. So yeah, we are actively seeking to improve the quality of our platform, as well as providing better support for our community members.
Nicely said. So I want to focus on a bit on you because you're, I think, an addition that's very special to Erxes. And I know that you have also banking and financial background, just like me. So why don't you tell us what your background is, and then mostly I want to focus on what you've done outside Erxes and how it's adding to what Erxes is doing now, because it's a global company out of Mongolia, being used and downloaded more than 1 million times and over 100 countries. And so it's mostly countries users outside of Mongolia, right? And in 25, just like you said, 25,000 enterprises. It's a huge number. So, so why don't you tell us what's your background and how it's adding to Erxes?
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I've got my degree in finance, and I also worked like over a decade in the banking and like a financial industries. But like early 2013, I have joined a company called New Media Group, which is Mongolian marketing agency, where like all like MJ and BJ, all of us met there. So when I joined that company in 2013, I think my mission was to do the financial analysis. So then I could bring some of those solutions to the directors to know like they should take those approaches, as well as like a current condition of the financial aspects of the company. So like after the month of my research and analysis on the New Media Group, I think I proposed my report, and I think that's how I started. But then after the report, like I've been told by MJ that I should join the company, so then I can implement the things that I had proposed to do. So the first thing I have done when I joined the company was I get rid of those. I merged the 4 companies all together because I saw that there was a really, really unnecessary expenses. All those 4 companies can be just one company. Like it's not like a naturally separated company at the time. Like that's how I discovered, and I merged those 4 companies all together. So it can be just company. So there's no like more like unnecessary admission costs was reduced. Like first thing. The second thing, I stopped like out of like 11 ongoing projects, I only kept 2 of them and stopped and postponed the remaining I think 9 projects, because basically with the limited resources we have, including the human resources, I found that it is impossible to maintain all those 11 projects at the same time. So we kept just the 2 projects, which we see there's a huge potential. So then, yeah. And third thing was third thing that I've done was just to step into the process and started like analyzing where in the process we are like making mistakes and lacking, like, and you know, like where we should be improved in terms of the process as well as the ability of our human resources as well. So yeah, that's how I ended up being a CEO at that company, New Media Group. And then later on, in earlier 2016, we initiated this platform, Erxes. So then, yeah, we were together. Yeah, I still keep on working as a CEO of that.
So Erxes. There you said it. That kind of explains why you are the CEO, which really requires very, very detailed work and analyzing where you are in terms of your operation, where the inefficiencies are. And it's so important for startups to become efficient as soon as possible, because just like you guys are working on now, you're adding different investors, different team members. You need to figure out exactly where you're going to go and tell these new staff on how to work, right? And how to improve your operations.
Definitely.
But now I want to focus more on the open source part of the business, right? And then how this open source is different to the businesses that's already in business, right? Now the HubSpots. And then if you can, what are your previous team members and then skill sets are and how it's improving, right? So could you focus on that, please?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I always have hard time explaining this, like, especially when I talk about the open source. But I mean, technically, open source is mean you place your, like, a source code of your product out there for anybody just to download and install and start using it for absolutely free of charge. And maybe, like, if you want to resell it, you can do it. You know, like, you can do it also, and then you could be able to generate the new source of revenue out of that for your own, like, needs. You know, like, so yeah, I think that's what it means, the open source. But the main difference between the open source and SaaS is, I think, like, the SaaS platform, like, providers have to carefully design and structure the tool for specific group of market, like group of people or enterprises that you are, like, targeted to, because, like, it will be just one platform on the one server. But, like, if you start, like, adding more models and more fields for larger enterprises you have, it's no longer be like a simple and easy platform for your smaller enterprises. So it means that you have to choose the target group of whoever using, and then you have to specifically design for it. But with Erxes, like, the companies can even structure the Erxes for their own needs. Because, you know, like, every company have unique needs from the tools they use. Like, even though that's exactly the same company, operates in the same industry, when you walk into their operation, like, the process of the operation is completely different from one another. So, like, they have to, they really need the different, like, different tools, you know, like, which, like, really fits into their operation. But Erxes is like a Lego toy. Like you can just walk in and then you plug and, you know, build your own structure with Erxes. So like a customization in that means. So that's the biggest advantage, like biggest difference between the SaaS and open source. And the second biggest difference is like many larger enterprises who operate in a highly regulated industries like a banking or like insurance, mobile phone providers, they use our platform because their product and customer information database is really confidential. And they are regulated even not to use the SaaS platform because SaaS is like product provider server. But like with Erxes, they can keep their database within your server. So that is another biggest difference between those two enterprises. So, I mean, there's so many others, but I think main two, like a big differences is this, which I think, yeah.
Okay, I think that you said it very clearly that the SaaS form is probably like the HubSpots, they're the SaaS forms, right? But then this is like a Lego, you can build your own, and you can actually build your own toolbars based on the platform.
And I mean, over the years, so many people like transition into open source because, you know, like there's another additional like differences came up with this because like SaaS platform, like the speed of the SaaS platform will be limited by the numbers of the staff members they have. But with the open source, place your source code out there, and tons of like millions of developers all over the world are contributing to your platform, like which means that like the speed and development and growth of this open source platform can be like unlimited, you know. So that's the other differences.
It's very interesting because the way you explain the open source and your other two co-founders, the way they explain, because they're the IT people, right? They kind of explains it differently, but then you explain it from such a different angle, and like you kind of summarize everything into more like a financial way and then explains it, right? So it's great. I mean, I'm glad that we're doing this startup grind with 2 sessions with 2 founders at the beginning, and then with you covering it. It's great. But now I want to shift our attention towards the current fundraising process that you guys are in, the CSO process, right? And then especially I think that people want to know is, well, I mean, I guess you're going to cover all the details, but in terms of preparing the company for CSO, which is kind of people want to know, and how to develop evaluation, and you're a financial person, so you probably did most of the work, right? So
yes.
So how much are you trying to raise, and then what's the valuation at this point, pre and post money valuation, and
I think
process?
Sure. Okay. Our pre-money valuation before the CSO fundraising was just like a little less than 16 million, and we are planning to raise 3.5 million with this pre-seed round of CSO fundraising round. So we are like estimated to be like our valuation estimated to be like over 18 million US dollars, like post money valuation. So yeah, I mean, we choose a CSO model because it's like fairly new model, like the way types of fundraising. So this has a lot of, advantages compared to the traditional way of fundraising. And I think one of the main advantages, it's for anybody it's for anybody within our community. You know, like it could be like the investor can be our customers or partner companies, agencies, or like it could be anybody. And you can just like go into our website and see all the information out there for you to read and know more about it. And then once you know more about it and you make a decision, you sign the agreement online with the smart contracts, and then you will be able to transfer the money and you will be investor, like just within a second. And like it could be anybody, regardless of where you are as well, because even, you know, like this is really great opportunity, because like in the real life, all this investor relation, like all the work related to this investor relation takes a lot of time. You know, like I personally really like this way of fundraising, because as a like entrepreneur, you know, like co-founder of like a startup in the early stages, we like tend to juggle so many work at the same time, you know, like, and like many times we lose focus on our main operation. But, you know, like with all those work which prevent us to focusing on our main production includes that investor relation part as well. I don't know if you had that like a little business owner said that, you know, like it was really hard time like getting a loan from bank, you know, because just to prove them that they are actually eligible to have that loan, you know, like, because so when you think about like a bank requires that many paperworks and, you know, like information from the person, the business who's about to loan some money. It's the same thing with the investor, because investor would even require even more information, because I mean, they just need all those information just for them just to give like a sense of little trust that they are actually willing to invest in us, you know, like, because it's not like a bank, they loan and they take it back all and with the interest rate, you know. So that's why, but on the other hand, we are in like a critical moment of the lifetime of our business, that the moment we lose control of the main production, we may not be existed in the next day. Do you know what I mean? So with the like CSO, I really personally like it, because you just have to prepare all those work just at one time, and then afterwards it just does its work itself, because all the information's on the website. People can just go in and see all those information so easily, and then they could be able to invest in within a second. Like during that last 4 days of that Christmas holidays, we even had like 2 additional investors during that holiday 4 days, which is like, how great is that? You know, like we've just been relaxing, and then there's some investment is just keep coming. So I think it saves a lot of our time, and it allows us to focus on our main production. That's why I really like it.
Okay,
and also,
so there's a question related to just what you're saying. You're saying, how do you project your future revenues, and what's the model that you use for your increase in your revenues? It's probably something related to your modeling and how you guys look at your business, right? So probably something related to your current projections that you have put for your CSO information.
Okay, and our valuation part, we work with a company called Finvisor. That's US-based company who provide services, a CSO, as well as this all sort of evaluation and financial database analysis. So we developed our evaluation based on the future projection of our revenue. So that is the easier, I think, way to explain it. So yeah, we've got the business model. It is difficult for because we are open source, and right. It's not like any other software companies. Like our model is like a completely different, and business model itself as well, like quite different than any other, just a software provider company. So like I think like myself and our like finance team had like a quite like some time to working on that projected numbers and things like that. But I mean, Finvisor was helped us like really in a big deal. So yeah, it was like technically based in our future projection of the revenue.
So what's the tool that would bring you revenues? Because it's open source platform, right? So millions of people are, over 1 million people, mostly IT based. IT people have downloaded and installed on their servers, using it for their internal operations, right? And along the way, they're giving you ideas and they're fixing the bugs, and then you guys are working together. And then along the way, you guys are improving them too. But what's the tool that would bring you revenue?
You mean the business model?
Yeah, in the business model. Because you guys talked about the SaaS model, you talked about the premium model. Is that where the revenue comes from?
Yeah, we've got the open source product. As I said, it's completely free of charge to use it. But there are restrictions, because recently our license has been transferred to open source to fair coded.
Fair coded.
Okay. Yeah, because that protects that technology company who provides that the source code. You know, like basically we put the restriction on the income that they would be generating on the resale. So like if the partner company exceed the certain like amount that we set, we will start getting the percentage of their income. Yeah, that is the one. And also on the open source, now currently we provide the partner agency program, which basically, yes, it is free to use our platform on open source, but we will help you, we will help you to get it done, like technically as well as logistically, like how you wanted to sell it to your clients, if there is any tutorial, like onboarding process, how it's going to be, there is a customer success specialist will be dedicated specifically for that company, so then they can learn from their clients, and then we can even like prepare the whole sort of set of documentation for them, so that in that way I'm saying logistically as well as technically, because just downloading and start using those open source platform all by themselves is a lot of like hard tech work. So I mean, you have to have like a solid tech team to maintain all those work. So
isn't that why you brought that SaaS form, so you don't have to have that tech people to install it and stuff, so you can just go online and it's a web-based platform, right?
Our mission is to be accessible for all the companies in any stages, including the one who's like non-tech. But like for them to go and use it is going to be really difficult. They need something simple, non-technical. So we also have our SaaS version, which is like in our simplified version of our platform, specifically for small and medium enterprises with non-technical background. So we sell subscription on our SaaS model, which is basically monthly charges, and as well as we provide affiliate and partner agency program as well on our SaaS version, because like a lot of companies and as well as like a tech influencers wanted to work with us, because they have like their number of people within their community, and they talk about us. And when they talk about us, when the people join us through those influencers, they can get the percentage of the income. So that's the affiliate program that we provide. And partner agency, like the partner agency have to work and do all the selling and onboarding parts for their clients, but still have the share of the income, so there's other of like revenue generating models like that. But our projected, I think, like the highest income generating model that we have is, we haven't started doing it. It's not like currently running, but we are planning to do it in the future. That is like a plugin on our open source, which is we call it resell, because there are so many other tools available on our Erxes tool. So then people can buy those tools on our websites, like integrations, new plugins. So basically those tools, some of them is free, but some of them is cost some money. So we get like a bulk sum of price from the main product provider, and we resell it on our tool. So that is the another like revenue sources that we are projected.
Right. Okay. So with the fair trade and with the tools and then resale, right? It seems like that's the revenue generating strategy. And then that's why the downloads are important. That's why the community is important, for which you guys are actually offering your CSO possibilities to invest in, right? And then I'm looking at your current revenue projection, which is up to 2024, you're projecting about $22 million revenues, and then projecting to have net income of $11 million. It's a big increase, right? But then you probably do IPO when you reach that revenue, right? And then I think that it's a question that came in the news, in the question feed. So that's why I was asking. So I think you got the answer now. Now I want to focus more towards the CSO program itself, and then what opportunities it's providing to your stakeholders and the people who are using the open source platform, right? Because best for startups, it's obvious. It's best investor is the stakeholders themselves. They want the users, the user base. So that's a great opportunity. So in that regard, what is your strategy in terms of offering this at this point of your growth?
With the CSO?
Yeah, CSO and the next step that you guys are looking into in terms of your strategy, growth strategy.
We are as I said earlier, we're planning to raise $5 million US in this CSO pre-seed round.
Pre-seed, okay.
Yeah, and we are planning to, because all the talk that I had, and I'm sure MJ and BJ had, it sounds all like miraculously successful, and everything goes great, like it sounds like it, but in fact it's not. Like we face challenges every day, and we make mistakes big times, like we make many mistakes, like simply because we don't know enough. Like every day we solve so many problems that we're facing every day, and still like continue to do so. And we know that there are several areas that we are like really lack of resources. And we first thing we're going to do with this fundraising is we will hire some great talents in some areas that we are really lacking. Like for example, I have been interviewing like at least 2 or 1 people a week from last October, I think October, for our tech team. Like we are like actively searching for senior DevOps manager, senior product manager, as well as content
How many staff do you guys have?
specialists. We've got 19 altogether, including all of 3 founders. Like, but out of that total 19 of us, only 5 of them are non-tech members.
Okay.
So those non-tech, like 5 members, are like juggling everything which is non-related to tech. We're also actually searching for onboarding managers as well, onboarding specialists. So yeah, we are definitely going to hire those talents, the right candidates, so then we can improve the quality of our product. I think that would be first thing. And we will be like constantly supporting the natural growth of our company rather than just jump into, like VC round or any other round. I mean, those talks are still going, like regularly going with the MJ, because MJ is responsible for that part. But still, these things takes time. But as a senior operational officer myself, I think like we have great potential. We can be there with ourselves, like naturally. So yeah, I think, that's the plan. We're not like so much in a hurry to go like rapid growth, and like we could reach there by ourselves. I believe so.
Okay, so the
Have I
user
answered
base.
your questions?
Oh yeah, it has. You have definitely. So, and my next question, and that just came in mind, was that where are you, geographically, where are your user base mostly?
Oh, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. I think the last time I checked, I think more than 40% of our users were based in North America.
Oh, okay, 40%.
Yeah, more than 40%. But then now, like, I haven't seen those updated yet quite recently, but I mean, now that we've got like quite a few numbers of the customers in Australia, as well as Arabia, like it's everywhere, like, so.
No wonder why you guys are always on the phone. Because it's such a large time difference in the US and in Australia, and then you guys are only 19 people, so right?
Sometimes we don't even understand like what that person mean, like trying to say, like even when we're talking like over half an hour, like, because like the communication part is the hardest part. All of like 3 founders are like really quite introvert people. Like over the years, MJ does most of the talking because he's the CEO, like, and he got the gun pointed on his head to do that. And otherwise, we're now learning this like a talking part from 2018, when we realized that like explaining what we're doing and like just to talk about what our intention is with the really simple short words to somebody like potential investors or partner company, to anybody, is just as important as we focus on our main production, you know. So that's why we start doing more talking, and I think like BJ and I are now quite used to it.
Like the mini pitch, like every time you get on phone and everyone you speak to, right?
Yeah. You have to be like upfront, proactive, you know, like every time when you talk. So yeah, getting used to it.
Sounds interesting. I mean,
day by day.
I think to most people, because they haven't probably faced this situation, it might be something to look forward to, right? But once you're in that situation, it's probably something that not many people can handle. That's the truth, I think. It's really hard to handle all the time difference, different accents. And some people just don't get it, you know. It's and then I'm assuming that because you guys have 3 different versions, the open source, SaaS, and the premium version, you're dealing probably with different kinds of user base, right? Like IT people you're using, and SaaS people probably like small and medium enterprises, and the large enterprises probably using your, like just like you said, with banks and mobile carriers. They're such a big high requirement for data security, right? So they're probably quite different way of talking to them, different way of complying with them. It seems interesting how you guys handle it.
Yeah. Still, yeah, you know, like it's again, like I've talked about losing focus. Like we also like struggle to balance all these 3. Like we've got 11 like enterprise clients, like those large bankings, you know, like we basically do all the work ourselves, which requires a lot of our time and communication, you know, because with the larger companies like that, we have to do the training, like at least 1 or 2. Even the process of getting that contract closed, like it takes the average like 4 to half a year to close one deal, you know, like, so it means that, yeah, it is a more like communication required, more customized solution, which I mean, as a COO, decided to stop getting more of those for time being until we have enough resources to deal with these clients. But yeah, like from last March, we start implementing and like developing our SaaS version very much simply because of COVID situation. And it's been going really well. Yeah. We've got now like over 6,000 signups and actively using
since the COVID.
Yeah.
Are we talking about March 2020?
Yes, March 2020. We start developing it. And now
can you think of the geographical area where the 5,000 downloads been mostly?
In an open source?
No, SaaS version. You said 5,000 downloads, right?
Signups.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they just sign up and use it. Like it's quite simple.
Do you know which countries are the signups are from?
I think, it's like
or is it quite mixed?
It's just quite mixed, yeah.
Okay.
It is just quite mixed.
Well, I think the interesting part to us, and I want to shift our attention to, is your investor base, the current investor base that you guys have. It seems like quite an interesting one. Can you elaborate some of that? Who are the investors, and then the types of the investors, and their background seems quite interesting as well.
Okay, we closed down our like a pre-seed angel round of investment in October 2019. October 2019. Yeah, I think there was 5 investors, angel investors, Mongolian angel investors has been invested in us, and with the terms of agreement, their investment has been converted to our US company,
Okay.
like quite recently, with the same time with this all CSO fundraising was started. So yeah, and addition to that, after we launched the CSO fundraising round, we've got the new investors, which basically like some of developers, Mongolian developers who works in like a larger tech companies and everywhere, even like our former employees who's now working in a Microsoft company.
Amazon, I think Microsoft. Google as well, right?
Yeah, Google. Yeah,
so developers in those kind of, okay.
It's just like, like giving this open source is just like a way of giving a love to someone, like, and then our community, like whoever within this community to give their love back, like we are so happy, appreciated, and I wanted to send my appreciation through this video, like if they are watching, because it means a lot to us. And we also have like people who support the Mongolia, like people who support Mongolian tech engineers to be in the next level, like the simple, like a guy that I've just spoken last week, that he invested in us with a 10,000
wrestler.
Oh yeah, Hakuho. Yeah, he also invested in us. Like, because these are the people who simply want like Mongolian tech people to be more successful. They are like our supporters, and yeah, we make sure that we work hard to and someday you will be able to benefit from our financial success as well.
That's, the investor base seems quite interesting. It's very diverse as well.
Yeah.
And the way you guys are doing the CSO is also going to make your investor base very diverse. And then what percentage are you guys are offering in the CSO?
Percentage of our company?
Yeah.
15%, almost 15%.
Almost 15%. 15% for 3.5 million. And it's a pre-seed round. And probably next stop is probably somewhere in Silicon Valley,
huh? Yeah, we're not too hurry. We will, be successfully be like generating like quite some amount, could be able to cover all the costs as well as to grow naturally. Like that's what we want. That's what I want. Just to focus on what we are like what we are lacking, and just to fix that and move on doing more, because that's more important.
Yeah, I assume so. And then another question just popped into my head was, when considering the fact that you guys have laid out, and then you have you guys have quite a concrete revenue plan and the net income plan. How many rounds of funding are you guys planning to raise up to maybe when you became a publicly traded company? Are you guys even thinking about doing an IPO if it's possible? Is that an option?
We are like IPO, yeah, that's definitely in the roadmap.
Who wouldn't want that, right?
Yeah, yeah, but okay, this is just my opinion. My vision, my way of seeing Erxes, like future Erxes, will combined by MJs and BJs as well as all other team members of ours, and then can shape the better future for us, hopefully. But yeah, we are planning like we think that it could be like the company valuation could be at 50 million.
50 million.
When we are like funded by VC fund or maybe IPO some other day, but still, my opinion, like we should not too hurry. We should not too hurry because why we've done this CSO before the VC fund or any other fundraising, because we have like great community and the people who's willing to work for us and work with us and grow together. And there are several things that if we can fix it and move on, and there's a huge potential in us. And it's always like a conflict when some new a larger share of investors join into the company, that there will be new way of seeing the Erxes. Because as I see many open source software, open source tools are famous, widely known, famous open source tools are mostly tech tools, for developers, GitHub, Linux, what else? And they all for developers. There's none in the MarTech industries, except us.
Yeah, that was my next question. You answered there already, so
yeah. And this marketing technology industry is its estimated market size for 2022 is $143 billion. And the growth between just 2018 to 19 is 44%, which means this is a rapidly growing and changing industry where there is the largest numbers of the softwares are developed in this industry. We believe that there is more than 5,000 tools available. So which means that this is crowded market, but large market, really, really huge, large market. But I believe that we are the only open source tool in this market, but I'm not sure this 100%. But if there is some open source tool available in MarTech industry, then I'm sure that we are the only few of those open source tool in MarTech industry. So that's why I think that there's a huge potential in us, and a lot of open source tool bought by VC fund, bought by some other companies, and the next day they shut down and they become commercial, and I don't want that, because we should not be hurry, because until we meet the right investors who's willing to continue our vision to be accessible for the companies in all stages, so yeah. The second, it will be a lot of work, but there's so much thing to do in our production that we need to focus. So yeah, that's the second reason. So yeah, that's my opinion.
Well, it's a good advice, and also there's some questions. It's in the question Q&A. And what's the per share price? If the minimum investment amount is $300, what's the per share price?
$1.83.
1.83. Okay, and Mindy already answered it. How did you guys get the idea or the concept of the business?
Okay.
Could be a broad one.
Idea initiated in 2016 within NMG, which is New Media Group marketing agency, that the previous company. So like within the NMG, we worked over like 5,000 projects, the client projects, like whether it's website or, like just a marketing campaign or whatever, like 5,000 projects. And we always have a struggle to, maintain this customer relation part during the project as well as after the project. We always have. We probably tried almost all of those like existing tools available in MarTech industry. Like we even used a HubSpot, and we ended up like we ended up paying a lot more than we expected, like, right. And we cannot be able to afford it anymore, like, because of the constantly increasing our contact numbers. The prices of we paying is just increasing, like, at the same time, and we cannot be able to pay anymore. So yeah, and all those like intercom, like what else? Pipedrive, like so many tools that we've used. Somehow those tools doesn't fill the like our requirements fully. Like maybe part of it, yeah, done great, but the other part still out there, and like there's always mistakes, challenges, human error, like we need to somehow automate it, and we need a tool. And like after I think used HubSpot, like, and then we decide that we cannot go forward with the payments, we've decided to do our own. So I think that's how the idea is started. So yeah,
I think it's a great example, and this is why most of the tech-based startups, they find these organic solutions.
Yeah,
those organic solutions are really meant to solve real problems, and I think that Erxes open source platform and where you guys are right now, it really shows us how it's done. And well, we've been spoken almost an hour, and I think we pretty much covered everyone's question. And now people have a good idea of how a tech-based open source technology company can raise money. They can probably follow through your trail as well. And then if someone is interested in investing into Erxes, what is the direct channel or the address that they can actually get information about this CSO?
It's erxes.io. That's our SaaS version of platform for international customers, and also erxes.mn. That's for Mongolian enterprises. So the information is on the website where there is a sub-page, say invest.
Okay.
In Mongolian, I think Hurungarolt. Yeah. Right. So then you can go in and you can log in, and then you will have more information.
I think I've logged there once and gotten some of the information that I was asking you today. Well, thank you very much. It was great getting to know very, very in detail about Erxes business model, because it seems such a big business model with quite a different one as well. So it really takes a lot of explaining, and it takes a lot of examples to understand all these different monetization channels you guys do. It's great, and thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you very much doing this again. Yeah, and for those who's watching, thank you very much for spending your like hour or maybe 2 hours for watching and learning about what we do. Like, thank you very much, and hopefully I'll see you in our community.
Yeah, and before I just ended, again, this Startup Grind is part of Startup Week. Mm-hmm. And Startup Week is main organizer is Start, and co-organizer is Erxes and Mongolian Angel Investor Association, and is again a startup week. There is more programs coming tomorrow and day after tomorrow and until the end of this week. And tomorrow, actually, we have 2 angel investors of Erxes joining us, joining our startup week and talk about their experience in being angel investor in Mongolia. And they will, of course, going to elaborate on their expertise and their experiences with Erxes and different startups they have invested in the last couple of years. So thanks again, and see you around.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much.